Hello, this is Cargadine here, and today I would like to talk to you about Twilight. Twilight. All these little teeny boppers have now made being vampiric popular. Girls who dress at the Gap and American Eagle are swarming to Hot Topic because being goth is like totally cool. A Hot Topic isn't even a goth store like it was intended to be in the early 2000s when it first opened up. Though the idea of a goth store kind of defeats the whole purpose of being goth, but we won't get into that right now. Hot Topic is a corporate hotspot for Team Edward t-shirts and freaking Care Bear backpacks. What a disgrace. I hate Twilight's fan following with such a passion. It's such an insult. Being gothic is a state of mind. It's a lifestyle. It's not wearing black arm warmers and giggling about how sparkly vampires are totally cute. And it's not just the teeny boppers, oh no. It's little girls, too. Like 7 to 9-year-old little girls that are reading this thing. And mothers wonder why girls have unrealistic expectations of men. They're being set up for disappointment. I'm sure Disney doesn't help with that, but I won't get into that right now either. Not only is it little girls and teenagers, but also middle-aged women going through midlife crises who wish their husbands were as perfect as they deludedly perceive Edward and Jacob to be. I mean, just yesterday, while I was at work, I was helping a lady who had to be in her 60s or so, who was looking for clothes for her 12-year-old granddaughter. And she was telling me how much the two of them love Twilight together, and that she was on Team Jacob, because, and I quote, "When he came out with that sexy long hair and that buff little bod, I fell in love. And he's so sweet, too. I may be a grandma, but I can still look." Yeah, you can imagine my horror at that comment. You know that kid's underage, right? He's too young for me, and I'm only 21. Granted, he is a handsome young man, but ugh, getting worked up over a fictional character who's also a teenager, that's just creepy. Admittedly, the fan base is quite possibly the worst thing about the Twilight Saga. But that's not the only reason that I hate Stephenie Meyer's sparkly piece of drab literary excrement. It's that such a dull novel with such a simple writing style could gain more recognition than real vampire authors with depth to their storyline. I could have written Twilight when I was 12 years old, and that's not an exaggeration. Vampires do not go to high school. Hello, Lost Boys? If they do, they should be staked. By Buffy. Even freaking Buffy, as corny as that show was, grew deeper than freaking Twilight. Vampires do have sex. God damn it. Vampires are all about sex. And vampires do not sparkle. Men who sparkle in real life just aren't that into women, no matter how androgynous they may be. Now, granted, I can't be too hard on Stephenie Meyer for the whole sparkle thing. I mean, I can appreciate her trying to create an original concept to add to modern vampire lore. You know, hiding from sunlight is to conceal their true identity because they basically hypnotize their victims with their beauty in the sunlight. It's a pretty unique concept. And I think that had her writing style not been so amateur and her target audience so immature, it could have held some merit. But the execution of this idea was so awful that no one will ever be able to get past the sparkling thing as anything but Metro. Now, when I read that book, I was all kinds of excited. I kept hearing about it from droves of fans, and after my friend, who shall remain unnamed for her own safety, recommended it to me, I thought I should see what all the buzz was about, so I bought it. I had high hopes. I thought finally a new good vampire novel had come out onto the scene. That was my first mistake. When I read it, I just kept waiting for it to grow deeper and more exciting. But no, it's just a lackluster girl complaining about her family, going through the drudgery of high school, something that no one who's graduated should be forced to revisit, with all the absurd, unnecessary teenage drama that any mature human being tries their hardest to avoid. And romantic drama with involvement from lifeless characters, no pun intended, isn't at all stimulating to the reader. Bella, a Mary Sue who thinks it's romantic for her stalker vampire boyfriend to sneak through her window and watch her while she sleeps, still remains a hopeless little damsel in distress the whole book. Edward, equally as annoying, has the same expressionless character the whole novel, totally devoid of character depth and personality. Oh, I love you. Let's make vampire babies that will possibly kill you in childbirth. How romantic. It's not just the characters that are devoid of life and growth. It's the author's writing style. Not only is it simple and amateurish, but it's inconsistent as well. In the novel, Bella is narrating the story from start to finish. But the way she narrates doesn't match the way she speaks. She narrates more intelligently, using unnecessary elaborate words that sound too much like the writer was trying to sound literate, or like it was an attempt to get young girls to look up these words in the dictionary to better their vocabulary. Plainly put, it just sounds like a high school essay for 10th grade English class. If you're going to have a teenager narrate, you should have her narrate the way she speaks in the book's dialogue. That way, it's consistent, it's easier for the reader to relate to the narrator, who happens to be the protagonist, and it fills out the character's personality and way of thinking. Now, I know this was Stephenie Meyer's first book, but if you're going to make a first impression, I suggest you better your writing style first before you chuck your beta test into the literary world. Hell, that's what I'm doing as an author. I've been working on the same book for years, rereading, rewriting, and editing the thing to death. Because as I get older, I learn more from other authors, and my writing style improves. I don't want to hurry up and finish my book because I'm eager for it to hit the market, because I want it to actually be good and well received by a vast audience, not just an audience of mindless hormonal fangirls. And that's not all.